to talk about, you're listening to Wait, Did You Hear? This is the podcast where we talk about, what's going on in the world, because there's always something going on in the world, whether that be good things, bad things, obscure things, or everything in between. Lots of stuff happened this week as well. I think the main thing is probably going to be the Epstein list, but we'll get to it. Today is Sunday, the 23rd of November. So let's first talk about what's been going on in our life a little bit. Let's start with you, Hillary. What's been going on in your life this past week?
Job stuff.
Well, yeah, last week we talked about how I was fired and you were looking for work. You were putting in applications, and I had also said that you were usually pretty lucky with job searches and getting called back.
I don't think it's luck, but okay.
You usually get consistently called back, but you didn't. Not for everything.
Well, that's true. 2 out of the 3 contacted me. So I had a job interview and got the job and starting tomorrow.
Yeah, and only one of them was a real person talking to you, I want to say. The other one was like an auto response from the application.
Yeah, probably, but...
So what I found interesting about your situation, because you have orientation later on today, I've worked at a lot of different places in my life, and I can't think of one single place that I worked at that did not, have like some kind of formal offering of a job where it's like, hey, we want to let you know that we like you and we would like to formally offer you the job. It's either you have to do this, you have to do that, you have to do this first, but in general, we want you to work with us. Well, you didn't really get that.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I had Monday.
Well, is that what they said? Like, we want to offer you the job, or is just like it was acting like you already had it?
It was kind of weird because I get there, and for the second time, he says, like, you're making this decision really easy on me. But then he goes, well, I have to ask you these questions so that I treat you like everybody else.
Okay.
And then we went through all the questions, and then he's like, well, I can move you along in the system, and you got to do this and this as long as you're good with it. So, like, that was kind of the formal offering, really. It just was not in those exact words.
Yeah, so that was, I think that was probably accurate in terms of what you did in this past week. There's not a whole lot of other stuff that happened for you. It was just like all of that.
All of that and the other job, like I was like covering and doing some things that I normally wouldn't be doing just because we had somebody out of the office that was unexpected.
Yes. So. Okay. For me, I had a few things going on this week. I was also trying to help with finances in the house by doing something for the first time. I was trying to do secret shopping for the first week. And now, secret shopping is, if you're not aware of what that's all about, it's where you go around from shop to shop around your area, or if you're crazy enough to travel outside your town to go other shops as well. And you can either talk to people during your shop, or you kind of do things incredibly secretively, and you're just kind of making sure certain items are in the shop that should be there or whatever. And that's what I was doing. And apps are finicky that do this. So they have you go around, you scan the UPC of the item that you're looking for. It's kind of a scavenger hunt. I take pictures of it from all sides, and they need to be clear pictures. And I want to say that I went through like 4 different shops, different stores, and I took pictures of items that I could find. I couldn't find everything. I could probably find about half the things I was tasked to find. And then I took some pictures of everything. And then I want to say that half of the things that I did find, they accepted. And then the other half, they said the images were too blurry or whatever. And I didn't think they were. I'm usually pretty good at taking clear photos. I think I got like $6 out of it at the end of the day.
Yeah, and again, you didn't keip track of how much time it took you.
Yeah,
you probably made less than $6 an hour.
That's fair, but I did have fun with it. And if I was to be honest, I think that I probably didn't do it as proper as I probably could have, because I was trying to do things quickly, maybe because I had other places to go to, and I didn't want to be like the weirdo taking pictures, of things. Like, for instance, I think I had to go to like Dollar Tree or whatever, and they're like, find the, fake nails and this specific brand and this specific UPC. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, well, I found them. But I'm also like, they got these customers walking through the aisles, and I'm over here, I'm the guy that's staring at the fake nails.
Hey, there are guys around town that wear the fake nails, and they look beautiful. So
it wouldn't fit me specifically.
Your son is currently wearing nail polish.
Well, that's fair. I thought he scrubbed it off.
I don't know. Last time I saw his hands, he still had it on.
Anyways, last week I also talked about listening to Allison Mack's new podcast. Well, it's not her podcast. She's just a guest on a special CBC podcast. But she did join Michael Rosenbaum on his podcast, Inside of You. Yeah, Inside of You is his podcast, where he interviews a bunch of celebrities about what's going on in their life. It's very therapeutic. His podcast is all about how they're feeling and what's been going on in their life and what they do for themselves in terms of therapy, which is kind of perfect for Allison Mack, honestly, because of everything that she went through. But what was, I guess, really, it was kind of an emotional episode because obviously he has not seen her in over a decade. On his podcast, he's had a lot of people from Smallville talk about her and her situation, so it was kind of weird in that aspect too. But the podcast starts and they're already in the middle of their conversation, and I was like, what I really wanted to see was how they greeted each other. Like, did they just kind of greet each other with a hey, what's up kind of look? Did they shake hands? Did they hug? Like, what happened? That's what I kind of wanted to know, but we will never know. It was a good episode, though. If you read the comments on that episode, though, it was very mixed. There's a lot of people are like, I don't know how I feel about this. And other people are like, yeah, good for her, good for him for inviting her and stuff. But it was an interesting episode. And then also, I bought my ticket to see Avatar next month.
Which I know you're so excited about.
I'm not that excited to see it. I will say that Avatar 2, once I finally got around to seeing it several years after it came out, I thought that it was much better than the first. But I'm really, it's still just a business transaction because I'm doing it for a podcast. That brings us to the question of the day.
Riddle me this, what did you say? Oh, that's right, it's the question of the day.
You are an outspoken atheist.
Yep.
So the question that I came down to is, if they finally came out with irrefutable evidence that God exists, there's a heaven, there's a hell, where you're ripped to shreds every few minutes in excruciating, painful detail, what would you do if you learned that you were wrong about being an atheist? What would you do?
Well, I just accept it. I mean, I don't have a problem being told that I'm wrong. It wouldn't be the first time.
Okay,
Certainly wouldn't be the last time.
Accepting it's one thing, but would you suddenly be a religious person?
No.
Because being religious is more than just accepting that God exists. It's, going through and doing what God wants you to do.
Okay, but I will make the argument that in a way I do what people believe.
Well, I agree. But that's just the thing that I'm trying to get with this question, is that because there are like 40,000 different denominations of Christianity, everybody has a different idea of what God wants you to do. And there are those that believe in, God condemns, homosexuality, transgender, whatever you want to say. And there's those also that say God would praise it for, love and all that. But there's no real way to know what God would literally say. You just have to pick one. But I don't know.
Well, I guess that's always been my problem with religion and belief in a God in general. Because regardless if it's real or not, I don't think I would want to adhere to a God that would condemn certain people because of how they are.
Right.
Like, that's just not...
And that's partially my thing, too. Now, I am not atheist. I am just agnostic. I'm just going to say I don't know one way or another. And I think that's fair enough, because they'll always say there's no evidence that God exists. And then they'll be like, yeah, well, there's no evidence that God doesn't exist. So,
Right, you're sounding like the CDC website right now.
well, the CDC, you know what? I didn't even include that in my list of trending topics, but yes, the CDC has changed their website stance on vaccines and autism and saying, oh, there's no evidence that it doesn't contribute to autism or whatever.
There's also no evidence that it does.
Right.
So
I don't know why they felt the need to change that. I guess that maybe they were
pressured by certain people.
Pressured by certain people in the government spectrum. So that was the question of the day. Leave your thoughts down below if you're an atheist in the comments of the Facebook page or whatever. What would you do? Anyways, so let's talk about the special of the day, or
It's the special of the day, the special of the freaking day.
special events coming up this week. I think we all know a big one. Obviously, this Thanksgiving is Thursday. This Thursday is Thanksgiving, rather. But we also have other things going on throughout the week leading up to that. Today is actually Thankful for My Dog Day.
I am not thankful for our dog. Our dog's an idiot.
Our dog's not an idiot.
Oh, yes,
he's
he
a
is.
good boy. He's a good boy.
An idiot.
He's a good boy. He's just in pain sometimes.
Okay, before he had his little injury and is in pain, he was an idiot. He's always been an idiot.
Oh, he's a good boy.
No, but okay.
All right, so that's today. Tomorrow, Monday, is Celebrate Your Unique Talent Day. So what is your unique talent that we should celebrate?
I can find the negativity in anything.
That's not a talent.
Yes, it
That's
is.
that's an anti-talent.
No, it's a negative talent.
My talent is critiquing, I say. Well, that's kind of like what you had said. It's critiquing. It's like finding the negative in anything, but it's also finding that positive so you can find a balance. That's critiquing. That's real critiquing.
Yeah, optimists kind of tick me off. But
It's not an optimist. Optimist is the opposite of what you're saying. An optimist only finds the good.
Okay, and to be fair, I classify myself as a realist. So, yes, I can find the negativity in things, but I also find the balance.
All right. Tuesday. Tuesday is National Play Day with Dad.
Okay, well, you get the kids then.
Okay, you can hang out with your dad then.
Okay.
Wednesday is Well, I find this interesting because Wednesday is the day before Thanksgiving. I don't know if it's always the Wednesday before Thanksgiving, but this Wednesday is Anti-Obesity Day.
I have a problem with that. I really do. Health at every size, people.
Right. So both Thursday and Friday have a holiday and an anti-holiday day in which people protest. So obviously it's Thanksgiving on Thursday. We all know that. But we also have the National Day of Mourning on Thursday, which is more so geared towards, well, the Native Americans and how we treated the Native Americans in order to get the country in the first place. So this is a day of protest.
I get that.
To do that. And then it's kind of the same thing on Friday. And what do we have on Friday after Thanksgiving? It's Black Friday, right?
Yeah.
But it's also the protest side of that, Buy Nothing Day.
I also get that.
Yeah.
Because consumerism is a big pitfall of this time of year,
But it's
and
not,
in this country.
It is, but at the same time, it's not like we're not going to, like, it's not just Friday anymore. It's the whole week. And
Well, yeah.
even, was it Monday after that, Cyber Monday?
Yeah, Cyber Monday.
But-
But right
yeah.
now, like, I did Christmas shopping this past week because Black Friday deals were already happening. So, for example, the PS5 is $100 off as of last Friday.
Yeah. But will it be another $25-$50 off on Friday itself?
I have no idea. No, I don't think so, because they announced their Black Friday deals for PlayStation 5 and said that it starts on the 21st. So
That's always been a kind of a problem with me, is like they have Black Friday, but Black Friday is like nothing anymore. It's Black Friday week. It's Black Week.
Yeah.
And like, so that's when the sales start coming up, is Monday through Friday, even sometimes before that. And then I don't even understand Cyber Monday anymore. So like everything is this week, all the sales. And it's like these days don't mean anything anymore. They're just called that because that's where it started.
Well, yeah, I get that. And there's sales year round, and some of them are even better than the ones you find on Black Friday, to be honest. Yeah. But
And then Saturday after that is Throw Out Your Leftovers Day.
Why?
I don't think it's necessarily saying anything specifically about Thanksgiving. I think it's just falls on a day that's close to Thanksgiving just randomly, but I think it's just about remembering to clean out your stuff. Clean out your fridge, clean out the stuff that's old and rotting or molding or whatever. Just make sure that you have a tidy fridge or whatever.
Okay, but like the fact that it's 2 days after Thanksgiving makes me think that they want you to throw away your Thanksgiving.
That's what it
leftovers.
sounds like. That's what it sounds like.
I mean, maybe
But-
some of them need to go, but most of them are still good.
Yeah, because when I was reading about the holiday, that it has anything to do with Thanksgiving, but it's just odd that it falls that close to Thanksgiving. That's
Well,
all
and
I'm
it
saying.
might not. Like if it's always the
30th is Sunday.
okay, so the 29th.
Yeah.
I don't know. Okay.
So yeah, that's everything that's coming up. But let's go ahead and talk about the recipe of the week.
Who's that cooking? My hunger's peaked. Holy crap, it's the recipe of the week.
Now, I had some questions about this because right now the only thing that I have written out is hot chocolate Rice Krispie treats.
Yep.
But we also made chili, and we also made beef tips, gravy, and stuff like that. Now,
Well, I kind of figured the beef tip gravy one would just be for the next week.
I guess we could do it that way if you would rather, but I think we have a whole week ahead of us that we can create something else.
Not really. I will be working around the clock, probably.
We'll see. I mean, I can also make food, but you can also contribute to deciding. But let's talk about, I think the main thing that's new for us is the Rice Krispie thing.
Yeah, so it was hot chocolate Rice Krispie treats. And I thought it would be, a fun treat that the kids would enjoy. Both kids hate them.
So it's not just a regular Rice Krispie treat. This is made with
It's hot
Cocoa Pebbles or whatever it's called.
They're Cocoa Rice Krispies
Yeah, Cocoa Rice Krispie.
plus hot chocolate mix
Yep, that's in there.
plus extra marshmallows.
Oh, yeah.
And dehydrated marshmallows and chocolate chips on top.
It's a pretty looking thing. And when you eat it, I can tell you right now that if you're trying to sense hot chocolate, you could probably taste it. But if you were just given it randomly to eat, it just tastes like a chocolate Rice Krispie treat, I think, for the
Which is
most part.
fine.
It's got the marshmallow taste because there's a lot of marshmallow there. But
Yeah, and I was worried that it would be way too sweet, but surprisingly it was not.
So it's a pretty good treat in general. The other things like the chili and the beef tips with gravy, these are things that we've had in the past.
This is a new recipe for the beef tips.
Yeah.
But the chili was the same.
The chili was the same, other than the fact that I added spicy beef broth.
Yeah, and that really did spice it up.
It was very spicy. I suggest don't do that.
Yeah, don't do that.
If you're prone to something like heartburn or something like that, you're going to have problems.
I didn't have any problems. It was just very spicy.
I had problems because I guess I'm too old or something, but...
Maybe you're just...
But I like chili in general, so I was fine with it. I probably would have put more beans in it, if anything.
Yeah,
I think it needed more beans. Anyways, so that's the recipe of the week. Let's go ahead and talk about the book or the books of the week.
It's the book of the week. Yeah!
We both had individual books that we talked about or reread this week. Do you want to start?
Yeah, I can start. So I read Dinner for Vampires, Life on a Cult TV Show, while also being in an actual cult.
It's a long title.
It was like a subtitle, the cult part.
Yeah.
By Bethany Joy Lenz. She is an actress, probably best known for her role as Haley Scott in One Tree Hill, that she played for 9 years, I would say. But during the time that she was in or on the show, she was also living with this, just being in a cult that prevented her from really kind of connecting with her co-stars and forming friendships and, the typical things that cults do. They isolate you, they take your money, they're not great. It's surprising to me because throughout the book, it's very clear that she is, an intelligent, thoughtful person and insanely talented, beautiful, all of the things that you would imagine somebody who wouldn't fall victim to this kind of cult mentality.
Yeah.
But I mean, they got her anyway.
So what was the straw that broke the camel's back?
I mean, like, how did she get out?
How did she get in?
How did she get in? So she, she had family, but had some, like, issues with her family. So she didn't have a lot of friends growing up. She was always just looking for that place where she belongs, that family.
That's almost always how you get into a cult. Almost always.
Yeah. So she was just missing that, like, family and that strong bond with people growing up. And she was raised religious, so always in the church and everything. And so when she was invited to an independent Bible study that kind of turned into a really close-knit group, family type situation, she just, she felt accepted. She felt like she belonged. And they were really good at preying on her insecurities, like that she was too much. And that she was selfish and all of these things, like all of these normal thoughts that people have, they would just kind of like latch on and prey on them and like just find those insecurities and those cracks and fill it up with their own BS, basically.
Mm-hmm. And so I find that interesting because I was talking about Allison Mack earlier, because so she was in a cult as well during her TV show, almost the entire time.
Yeah.
And it's interesting to hear how you get into a cult and ultimately how you get out. I'm sure she got out on her own kind of accord.
She had help. She got so deep that she married into the cult. So she married the son of the cult leader. When she became a mom, that was the last straw for her.
Okay.
Like, no way that she was going to let her daughter grow up like
and
this.
Obviously with Allison Mack, she was forced out through government interference and when she got arrested. So there's a lot going on there. Some similarities and a lot of differences. Your book came out a little bit over a complete year ago in October 22 of 24. It has an average of 4.25 out of 5 star rating on Goodreads. That is by 92,000 ratings.
There's a lot of people who read it probably because they love One Tree Hill. One Tree Hill was very popular.
That's a cult TV show.
It
says on the title of the book.
Not in a way that's going to damage your life. It's just that it was beloved.
How would you rate it?
I mean, definitely probably like a 4, I would think.
Yeah.
It was very well written. You never quite know when you're getting into that memoir status.
Yeah.
But
I mean, I'm reading a memoir right now for the next episode, but we'll see how that goes. My book this week was a mystery thriller type of a situation. It was written by Reese Witherspoon and Harlan Coben. This book is called Gone Before Goodbye. It came out in October, so just last month. It's already got 29,000 ratings itself, and its average is 3.79 out of 5. Now, this book is... Well, Reese Witherspoon herself liked to call it, her character, Elle Woods in Legally Blonde. Mm-hmm. She liked to say, well, it's Elle Woods, but in the medical profession, where she's a doctor, she's a surgeon, she's a plastic surgeon. It's not a comedy, though, so I don't know why she said that. Legally Blonde's a comedy, where she's an idiot. And she's
an idiot, though.
Isn't she? Well, she's blonde.
Well, she's, pretty girls are underestimated.
Yes, but I guess I shouldn't say that. It's been forever since I've seen Legally Blonde. However, I don't really see it that way. She is a plastic surgeon who, because she went through a traumatic situation, she had her medical license revoked. And then she gets contacted by some strange person to fly her overseas for basically they want her to do some plastic surgery under the table. And if she does that, they'll give her like $10 million. They'll get rid of her medical license revocation. They'll get her back. She won't have any legal problems there. Basically, everything looks good on paper, but she has no idea what she's doing. She doesn't know who she's doing it for or why she's doing it or what. And then so she's flown basically blindfolded, but not really. And then she learns more about what's going on. And then she learns a little bit of a conspiracy there. There's a lot of twists and turns as the book progresses, especially after the halfway mark of the book. And I think in general, it's a pretty good book. I think that after the halfway point, it kind of lost me a little bit with the twists and the turns. It made a little bit no sense. It's one of those, what do they call, where you can't trust a narrator type of things.
It's just an unreliable
narrator, because there's things happening behind the scenes that you're not told about until the very end, where you're just supposed to like...
It's a thriller.
Yeah.
Yeah, thrillers almost always have unreliable narrators.
So there's so many twists and turns to the point where I'm like, I had to look up on Google, like, what the heck is going on? Like, what was actually happening? Because they're like, I was doing this the whole time. And I was like, were you? And so, again, I like the first half. And I just kind of got lost in the second half. I think on Goodreads, I rated it like 3.5 out of 5. I can't do 0.5s on there, so I just rated it 3. But the real score is 3.5 out of 5, I would say. When I looked at people who are familiar with the authors, specifically Harlan Coben, who's written a lot of thrillers.
I've read some of his books.
You have?
Yeah.
They said that it's like 99% his DNA type of a book, and they're not entirely sure where Reese Witherspoon came in. Like, maybe she came up with an idea for the female doctor or something.
She could have written, like, the character.
Yeah, and then, like, just he did, like, everything else, probably.
Yeah, and then, like, the story and everything. Because it was interesting when I was reading my book, because she's an actress, talking about how they construct the character.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing as an actress, she probably had a lot of influence over the character.
Yeah, because I'm not very familiar with Harlan Coben's work. I'm wondering if a lot of his books have male lead characters.
I would say that's accurate.
And like you have her, and she's got a female lead. I did read this as an audiobook. Reese Witherspoon read a majority of it, but there was 6 other people reading as well. It was a full cast type of audiobook, but it was not like Harry Potter, so there's no music or sound effects or anything like that, and the acting was very minimal. It was mostly just people reading lines. The 2 people that you're going to recognize if you listen to the audiobook is Reese Witherspoon and Chris Pine.
It's interesting they came back together, because This Means War.
This Means War, right. And then a bunch of other people that I'm not familiar with. And if you go on to like fan casting websites, because a lot of times when you're talking about books, especially books that are being kind of sort of talked about, you'll see people fan casting a movie adaptation, if it ever happened. They got Reese Witherspoon on there as the main character, obviously, and they have Chris Pine as that character as well. I found that interesting. And then I looked at all the other characters that they had on there. I'm like, you know what? A lot of this makes sense. Like J.K. Simmons as like a kind of a father figure type of biker gang leader type of guy. And I'm like, I could see that. But yeah, overall, it's not a book I would super recommend unless you're a fan of Harlan Coben already, or Reese Witherspoon, I guess. It's an okay book. It has its moments. That brings us to the biggest part of the podcast, the trending section. This is what happened in the past week that everybody's talking about. This is Wait, Did You Hear?
Wait, did you hear?
Hear what, dear?
Did you hear? Did you hear? Now listen here.
So we break this into sections, or at least that's what I'm doing. And first off, government. Obviously, we have the U.S. House of Representatives. They have all voted to release the Epstein Files in a historic vote, 427-1.
Yeah. And then you're like, well, who's the one? And
Who's
I had
the
to
one
look it
guy?
up. I'm like, I don't know. And I actually forgot. I know it was a Republican.
Yeah. So this seems to prove the fact that the overall consensus is that everybody on both sides just wanted this thing to be out in the open. But it does not say at this point if it's just going to have a bunch of redacted names, which is what I'm thinking, a smokescreen. You know, like a lot of people are saying that they're just going to redact all of the Republican names and just leave all of the Democrat names, which I don't think is very fair, and it's not going to fool anybody. And
no, I mean,
it's just gonna piss off, like, it's gonna piss off everybody. It's gonna piss off the Democrats and the Republicans. It's like the Republicans are gonna look at it and they'll be like, come on.
Well, it's ridiculous. Like, everything in the news lately is just making me be like, how stupid do you think we are?
They think we're pretty stupid. Another thing that I saw is we might not get the Epstein Files actually released because I think it was at the FBI or somebody came out and they're like, well, as long as it's part of an open investigation, we cannot release it yet or something like that. And so it's part of an open investigation or something.
Sure.
And that's just like an excuse or whatever. And it's not that surprising, but like it's one of those things where it's like if you're on one side of the political spectrum, you're like happy and saying, you see, they said they'd do it and they're doing it. But, they have to do checks and balances. They can't just do it, whatever. And so there's lots of excuses being made for it to not actually be released. But we'll see. We'll see. Trump also makes another big move to shut down the Department of Education. Yep. So on Tuesday, the Department of Education announced that it has entered into 6 different agreements to move programs of the Department of Education to other federal agencies. For instance, the Department of Labor seems to be taking on, I'd say, a majority of stuff, like elementary and secondary education programs.
What is so wrong with valuing our education and educating children? Like, can I just ask what is so wrong about it?
Well, a lot of people seem to have problems with the way kids are being taught. And so they're like, well, we have problems with it. And obviously for instance, everybody's so politically correct. That has to be a part of the school system, right? So let's just end that and let's enter more faith-based things into the school system. I'm sure
it's not going to make it any better, but okay.
No, but they like to try. And finally, this was actually relatively recent. Within the last couple days, we had Trump. He met with Mamdani, who he has been slandering all over social networking and stuff like that. Basically met with him in the Oval Office. And he shocked both Republicans and Democrats by basically having nothing but praise for him. They're just like, hey, have buddy. Like, they're just hanging out there. I found it funny, actually. One reporter during this meeting asked Mamdani if he thought Trump was a fascist. Did you see that? I
heard about it.
Yeah, and so he started to answer this question. He's like, oh, I've said in the past, or whatever. And then Trump cuts him off. And then he's like, it's okay, you can just say yes.
It's weird.
It's like, it's easier than trying to explain it. Just say yes. And like, I was trying to find out what everybody thought of his commentary there. And I think a majority of Republicans are just like, oh, he's hilarious, making a joke, blah, blah, blah. Can't we just
admit it?
Or you just admit it. Or he's an idiot. So like, why can't we just say that? Like, whatever. I just thought it was funny that happened and he was asked that. And then that's what Trump's response was. Anyways, in the world of food and drink, McDonald's is soon to release Dr. Seuss's The Grinch meal. That's coming. That's coming up soon.
Why?
It's going to feature a dill pickle Grinch salt McShaker fries. So
that sounds like vomit in a cup.
So pickle fries. Well,
that's disgusting.
Well, think about it. The Grinch likes to come in and he likes to create crazy things, and he likes to ruin people's experience. So,
well, yeah, if you make anything pickle flavored, you've just ruined my experience.
Well, so. I think it could be okay. I think the last time we went to Burger King, because it's not in our town, I thought that they had pickle fries. I thought.
Well, yeah, it seems to be all the rage, and I'm sorry, but I hate pickles.
Also, he's sneaking a piece of mischief into every meal, which is a pair of spirited socks scribbled with messages from the Grinch himself to let everybody know exactly how he feels about this holiday season. So you get socks. You get socks in your meal.
That's weird, but also in the state of this economy, I will take some free socks.
Well, it's funny because I was reading about it and they're like, yeah, I mean, you can use them as your makeshift stockings this year.
I guess.
I mean, why not? And they're all different colors and stuff like that. Whatever. In the world of entertainment, we have heard from Kevin Spacey, who has said that he is currently homeless, living out of hotels. He's living paycheck to paycheck. He's like...
Aren't we all?
Well, this is true, but we're not living in hotels, I'll tell you that much.
No, because that would be more expensive. He's probably living at the Ritz or something weird.
He's like, his job that he's getting paychecks for week to week, he's not an actor because he can't get a job as an actor. But what he's doing, he's like a singer at clubs, like Frank Sinatra type of thing.
That's also weird.
It's very strange. That's what he's doing apparently, but it is what it is. Those that are big into video games are very curious but also apprehensive about this, but they had the first pictures revealed for the live action Legend of Zelda movie that's coming out. People are very picky about video game adaptations. I couldn't care less, but like Zelda's like this big thing. I've played like one game of the Zelda.
Yeah, no, I never got into that.
I think the Ocarina of Time, I think I played that one. It's okay. It's a decent game, but it's not anything that I was obsessed with. I mean, yeah. I mean, I have nothing to say about this Zelda movie because it looks fine from just the images. There's no trailer or anything yet, so it is what it is. There is a teaser trailer, though, for Moana's live action. It looks interesting, but it might be a shot-for-shot remake. Based off of the clips that were in this teaser, it looked to me like the same clips in the actual animated Moana film. I'm not a huge fan of shot-for-shot remakes. They bug me, but I am very curious to see like The Rock playing his character.
Well, other things in video games is that the US and the UK, they are now trending towards single-player games to multiplayer, which is unusual. It used to be the opposite.
Oh, what do you mean?
I mean, like, the preference has changed.
The preference? Oh, they're trying to go back to multiplayer?
No. The preference of the gamers have changed. They're now preferring single-player game instead of multiplayer.
Well, that's been out there for a while. It's hard to find multiplayer games. Actually, no. Online multiplayer, you can find a billion of those. However, local co-op games are a lot harder to find these days.
Yeah.
Also, on Monday, we had the Video Game Awards that had nominations. I don't know too much about that. I know that only the one thing that was nominated, because I'm a movie guy, they also had nominations for the best video game adaptation. I know that they were on there. But, I mean, if you're a big gamer, I'm sure you know a lot more about that than I do. Also, when it comes down to movies, we have the first teaser trailer that was released for Sunrise on the Reaping, which is the next Hunger Games movie. You didn't see the last one, did you?
No.
You should. It's pretty decent.
Okay.
It doesn't have to have Jennifer Lawrence.
I didn't say that it did. I read the original books. You never read the books.
I read the first book.
You hated it.
I did not like it. I didn't like the structure of it, no. There was also a new trailer that came out that was released for the next Silent Hill live-action movie, which is called Return to Silent Hill. I think it looks decent. There's a lot of people out there that says it looks like hot garbage, that like they think it looks really cheap and stuff like that, like indie, like bad CGI and stuff like that. I can't really tell based off of the trailer. Maybe they're right, maybe they're wrong. I'm not sure. I like Silent Hill, though.
Yeah, I do too.
So
I like the creatures.
I'll definitely check it out. And finally, there was a second trailer as well for the adaptation for Project Hail Mary, which is Ryan Gosling's movie that's coming up. So with this, having read the book, I can tell you that the first trailer that they came out with was perfectly acceptable. Watch that trailer. This second trailer for sure reveals way too much, about a pretty big reveal. I mean, it's right in your face. It's something that I figured they would eventually do in a trailer because that's going to get more people to sit, come to the theater to watch it. But nevertheless, they shouldn't have done it, and they ruined a surprise.
Okay.
Because I think that most people are going to watch the movie regardless, because Ryan Gosling, and also it's the same people, the same author that made The Martian. That was a pretty popular book made into movie. Also, I think, was it last week that we talked about the TV show The Beast in Me? I think it was.
Yep.
We finally finished this series today. And what do you think of how they ended it?
I thought it was predictable from start to finish, like I said.
I think it was very good. If you're a fan specifically of mysteries and thrillers and things like that, really good, dark kind of things, I think it has the overall vibe of true crime. Netflix is big on true crime a lot, so it has the vibe. It's not a true crime story or anything like that, but it has the same vibe. If you're a fan of that, I think you're going to like the show. I think that it was very well done overall, but yes, it does fall into certain stereotypes that it could have not done. I think that in the beginning of the show, I think that it had the opportunity to go in a wide assortment of different directions, and ultimately it kind of stays in a safe spot, I think.
Predictable.
Well, I wouldn't say predictable, because I couldn't really predict what happened.
I could.
But I'm just saying, like, that's the reason why it wasn't predictable is because it could have taken a lot of different directions. Most predictable things, they are kind of stuck in one direction. They're only going to do one thing.
Just because it could have taken risk and didn't doesn't mean that it's not predictable.
Well, I'm saying most things that are predictable, they kind of put themselves into a corner and they can only do one thing. For instance, Avengers Endgame, which was a pretty darn big movie, after Avengers Infinity War, there was really only one thing they could do to get out of the mess they created for themselves. And everybody was saying it years before, not years, but months before the Avengers Endgame came out. And they were all right as to what they were going to do because they put themselves into a corner and created a predictable thing. It was still satisfying, but it was wholly predictable as to what they were going to do. That is predictable to me, where you kind of write yourselves into a corner. Anyways, moving on to that, we're going into...
No, you missed like a big thing.
What did I miss?
Wicked for Good's out.
Wicked for Good is out, but we can't talk about it.
Well, I know we can't talk about it.
Because we didn't see it.
It doesn't matter. It's still news.
It's out. There you go.
And I've heard it's bad.
You didn't even watch the first one for the most part.
That is true, because I hate musicals.
You saw bits and pieces when I watched
Unfortunately, I heard it all because I was making something in the kitchen.
I really liked the first one. I will be watching the second one eventually. And when I do, I'm sure I'll talk about it. However, until that day comes, I don't know. There was rumors, by the way, for a long time with this second movie. It's like, who's going to play Dorothy? Who's going to play Dorothy? And for the longest time, they kept on bouncing back and forth between a few big names. Like, for instance, like one at the top was like Taylor Swift.
Oh, for heaven's sakes.
You wouldn't be surprised. However, from what I understand, what they do with this movie is you never see her face. I think that that's what they do. So whether it's Taylor Swift or not, you don't see her face. Anyways, moving on from Wait Did You Hear, we go to our next segment called Grievances and Gratitude.
Gripes and thanks, hand in hand. Life's a mess, but ain't it grand? Don't give me that attitude. It's grievances and gratitude.
I didn't write anything down for this.
Okay.
You know why? Because it's Thanksgiving week. We're only supposed to have thanks.
Well, I have a grievance.
Oh, what's that?
So there is this stupid stamp at work, right? And it says mailed, and then you write in your date when you mail something. So I've used it a couple times, and I just thought that I was a moron, right? Because every time I would use it, it would be upside down. And I'd be like, I did it again. I didn't pay attention to how I was stamping it, and it's upside down. Oh, well, whatever. Today, or the other day, I actually paid attention. The stupid stamp is upside down. So you think you're using it right side up.
Yeah.
And it's upside down. So it was not my fault. The stamp is stupid.
Oh my God. That's a grievance.
Yes, it is.
I mean, it's
very annoying.
It's like a pet peeve.
It's annoying.
Okay. So my gratitude, because I don't have a grievance. I don't have a grievance this week. My gratitude is for all of our lovely listeners who tune in every week to hear our beautiful
person.
I don't know.
It's probably zero.
No, we have listeners for sure.
Okay.
And without you, this would be impossible to do. So we thank you for your support and hope you come back next week.
I have another grievance.
Oh yeah? What's the grievance?
You. No, for real. Just new job paperwork. Why does it have to be so annoying?
Oh, yeah, I would actually agree with you on that in general, especially depending on the job that you take. For instance, this new job of yours is very basic, frontline, retail, like whatever.
Yeah, it's not complicated.
You don't need as many complicated back-end stuff as you go through
I had
to do that.
16 tasks, and some of them had multiple forms I had to sign. That's ridiculous.
I mean, you're not. I
just have to show up and like sell stuff to people and collect my paycheck. That's all I'm doing.
Yeah,
it's not rocket science.
You are just a basic retail person, and it doesn't take a rocket scientist. I mean, all that paperwork, all those tasks. You'd think you're going into NASA or something. What do you know? It's no. Like, I get for some jobs needing to go through all the hoops and ladders.
There was less paperwork for my paralegal job.
See, that's problematic.
Yeah.
Like, I don't get it. I don't get why some jobs are like that. I guess yours is Fortune 500. Maybe that's why.
Yeah.
But, and the paralegal stuff is not Fortune 500.
No, it's more localized, but still, it's a pain in the butt and it's annoying.
Yeah. So that was grievances and gratitude. Boom. So, you have any gratitude?
No.
Okay. So that was grievances and gratitude, which brings us to the game or the surprise section, which this time was on me. And okay, so here's my plan this week. Okay.
God.
I want you to think of the
Next
topic.
words out of your mouth is gratitude. I'm going to punch you.
I don't need you to the surprise. You're going to have something to have gratitude about. No. I was thinking we're going to do a little bit of tarot reading. How about that? Tarot.
Okay.
And so you're going to think about some kind of subject, and I'm going to read 3 cards, and you're not going to tell me what you're thinking about.
Okay.
And then I'm going to read out what I do, because usually with 3 cards, it's past, present, and future, I think. And you're going to tell me if that correlates to what you're thinking about. Okay,
right.
so you
So
think...
not really a question, just a topic.
Yeah, question I feel like is 1 card.
Okay.
More of a topic, yeah.
All right.
So I want you to send me your energy with the topic.
Okay.
And then I'll pull out these 3 cards. I'll have you cut the deck, I guess. I think that's what we're supposed to do. So when you're ready, you can cut the deck.
Oh no.
Okay. So here we are. Our top 3 cards. Are you ready? You
Yeah.
got the topic in mind? Okay. So the first card is an upside down 5 of Cups.
Okay.
The second...
You don't know what any of these mean.
No,
so-
I have a book. But my book doesn't tell me upside down things. I think it's just the reverse of the upside up stuff, right?
Basically.
Okay. And do we read each one individually first or pull out all 3 cards? What do you think?
I usually pull out all 3 cards and then...
Okay. All right, so the 5 of Cups reversed first. The next one is 3, the Empress. Okay, ooh, that's interesting.
That's it? You have no idea.
I'll find out. And then finally, the Tower.
Oh, that doesn't look good.
There's fire on that card.
That really doesn't look good.
All right. Okay, hold on. Where's my box? My box has my book. Hold on. We're going to find out what this means. So first things first, we're going to find out what 5 of Cups is upside down. We're going to try to find that out. So I'm going to do our cups first. Okay. So the 5 of Cups, a beautiful figure appears, blah, 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 blah. All right. The 5 of Cups is a card of loss, most often centering around failed relationships and emotional grief. When this card appears, we can become consumed by things that have not worked out, unable to see a way forward. The anchor tattoo on the picture, I guess, represents those emotions that will only drag him further down. Okay, but when we think about that backwards, I'm guessing you're Googling it.
Yes, I am, because I don't trust your little book.
Okay, well, what does Google tell you?
The reverse is moving on from disappointments and emotional baggage, recovery, acceptance, and finding opportunities in setbacks.
Okay, does that connect with what your topic is at all?
Yes, it could.
Okay, going on. We have the Empress. 3, the Empress. So, here's what my little book that you don't trust says. Let's see. The multicultural pan-gender Empress appears with arms outstretched, embracing all manner on Earth's creatures. Her youthful appearance bespeaks nature's eternal pattern of rebirth, love, and creation are her domain, and her heart is an opening to the sky wherein resides the gentle blue path to the universe. I chose to illustrate the Empress card as it appeals to me as an artist and mother. This is not helping me.
Yeah, no, it's talking about what the card looks like. That is not helpful.
Right.
It represents creation, abundance, and nurturing, symbolizing fertility, femininity, and a deep connection to the natural world.
Okay, so that doesn't tell me anything either. But does that help you?
No.
Okay. Moving on to the Burning Tower. The Tower. XVI 16. Okay, so the Tower card represents destruction, but the destruction of a tradition that may have held you prisoner. There can be pain and perhaps even rejection by loved ones when you come out or when you decide to live as your true self. This is a Pride deck, So this is why it's reading like that. But some castles deserve to crumble. The patriarchy will fall. You're strong enough to weather the storm. So what's your thing, say?
Sudden upheaval, chaos, destruction, and crisis. But ultimately, it symbolizes necessary transformative change and liberation.
The end of something old and the start of something new. That's the future. So from what I understand, so you have the relationship one, or something like that, is the past. The present is you're in tune with the universe, I guess. And then the future is the end of something old and the start of something new. And so, like, the first card is something old, I feel like. And the third card is the end of that something old. So what was your topic?
Finances, because obviously if I am working on getting a second job, that's an issue.
Okay, so the Five of Cups would be like the problem with your financial relationship. I don't know. And then the present is, I don't know, the Empress. You're the Empress of your world, I guess. And then the Tower is going to be the destruction of your finances. I don't know.
Yeah, that's not good. That's why I said.
Maybe you didn't send me your energy very well.
Maybe you didn't receive it.
Maybe. I mean, I always question when I do tarot, how I'm supposed to read this. Am I supposed to read this as upside down, the rest upside up as I pulled them? Or am I reading, if I'm reading to you, is that upside up, downside, downside? See, that's where my problem lies. I don't know.
You're supposed to use your intuition. We took a whole class on this.
I don't have intuition, so I can't use it. But if it was the opposite, then the destruction would be the rebuilding, right?
I suppose so. Or you could say it's the destruction of any financial concerns, I guess.
I mean, your topic is financial concerns. I mean, the Empress could be you understanding everything you need to understand, both the positives and the negatives about finances, where you should be at, where you were at, where where you're at currently.
Well, but this does say, the Tower symbolizes necessary transformative change and liberation.
Right.
So if I'm worried about financial issues, then change and liberation is actually a positive thing. Because liberation would mean that we no longer have the concerns and that we're more comfortable.
Right. So the Five of Cups, going back to that, we had our problems of the past that we're trying to avoid. That's why this guy is looking away and everything, not realizing that there's solutions to his problem that he doesn't realize. But it's the problem. It represents the problem. And then the center is where you're at right now, which is kind of pulled between the two, I feel like.
I don't know. Watching you try to interpret this is painful.
Thank you. I'm a wizard. And
no, I don't think so.
And I like the Tower one. I think the Tower one makes the most sense. If we just pulled like one, it would make more sense than that.
I suppose.
So I don't know. But what about, you want to do a reading?
No, I don't.
You want to read me?
No.
Okay. You're better at it than I am. I figured something might interesting happen. But instead we have more questions than answers. Okay. So yeah, that was, wait, did you hear? Next week will be very interesting because we don't know your schedule yet.
Nope.
And everything. And we might record on a Saturday or Sunday. I think that's what we're trying to figure out, is schedules and how it works. And if it doesn't, I might have to start getting some podcast guests to talk about what happened in their week.
Okay.
But yeah, remember to subscribe to us on wherever you get your podcasts, other than Spotify for reasons. And until next week, you can also reach us on email, waitdidyouhearpod@gmail.com. And on the description box, remember, that's where you find all the links to all the stuff that we talked about, including our Facebook page, which you can follow us on there. And you can comment on our recipes or the books that we're talking about and things like that. That's where you can interact with us probably the most. But obviously, if you have any questions, concerns, or suggestions on what we should do, you can email those to us as well. So yeah, until next week, peace out.
Bye.